this next problem in Chapter 2, we deal with raising an imaginary number to some arbitrary integer exponent. I say express in lowest terms because there are only 4 possible answers when you raise the imaginary unit to an exponent. Namely I, which is I to the first, I squared, which is -1, because square and negative, or square root gives you -1. I cubed, which is just I squared times I, which is -1 times I. And then I to the fourth, which is I squared times I squared, -1 times -1, gives you 1. So if I were to continue either up or down this list, it would just keep repeating. So we need to think cyclically, that is, in cycles. I to the 39th, we need to look at 39 and think, what is the largest multiple of 4 in 39? Or not in 39, but less than 39. And that would be 36. So this is like saying I to the 36th times I to the 3rd. Well, I to the 36th. Why did I choose 36? Because it's a multiple of 4. And I to the 4th is 1. So we could write this as I to the 4th to the 9th times I to the 3rd. Well, I to the 4th being 1 raised to any power is itself. This just gives us I to the 3rd. And by our handy chart over here, I cubed is equal to -I. So our final answer here is -I. I to the 39th is -I. I to the 273rd. That's taking this a degree further. 273 is not divisible by 4, but when we do divide it by 4, the remainder we get is 1. So it's safe to say that this is equal to I to the 1. For more reasoning on that, think about division. If I divide 273 by 4, well, I'm going to get a number, which is actually going to come out to be whatever 272 divided by 4 is, plus the remainder, which is 1. The remainder is the only thing I'm interested in, because the remainder will kind of lead me to this chart over here. And that's exactly what I've done. I've used the mod program, which I've given to all of you, to run 273 mod 1. Mod does remainders. So, therefore, the answer to this question is a simple I. Now, for my next question, I to the -10th, think of this as 1 over I to the 10th. Now, what is I to the 10th? Well, I to the 10th, using that same modular arithmetic, is going to be the same as I squared. Because I to the 8th is going to be 1. Now, I squared is -1. So this is going to be 1 over -1. That's just -1. Be very careful not to think that, oh, just because it's a negative, I can still use my same modular arithmetic. If you had 1 over I, that's not I. It's something slightly different. You have to be very careful how you do these things. So just convert it to a fraction, then go about the same business, and then see where it goes from there. And your answers to this question are -I, and -1.